Good Wednesday morning, friends. If you are joining us live, or if you are catching this later, good afternoon or evening or middle of the night. Changing my screen there for a second. It's a beautiful sunny, a little cloudy, but it's nice to see the sun here in Kirksville, Missouri on this Wednesday morning. This is our time on Wednesdays to pause and reflect together on our faith and how we're living our faith in these days. Most of you know me, but if you're joining and you don't, I'm Reverend Jennifer Finley, and I enjoy this time every week. I love seeing your faces pop up or hearing comments later on or knowing that we are in this together. And so this morning, I've been contemplating this sense of reflecting on our faith. Sometimes I think we think about faith as this thing that is out there someplace that we really can't see or touch or smell or taste, and sometimes it feels as if faith is this thing that's out there that we can't quite grasp. And sometimes our faith seems pretty close. But there are times, I think, for all of us when it feels like faith is this thing that we have to have, and it's out there and we can't quite reach it. Now, of course, that's not the way faith works. We know that, but it doesn't keep us from feeling that way sometimes. But I've come to understand that faith is lived out. We know and grasp our sense of God's presence with us in and through the daily things of life. Faith is part of our ordinary pieces of life, including the places that we do life with other people. And so that's one reason I am here outside today. Some of you may recognize this space. This is Red Barn Park out on the southern edge of Truman's campus. Now, most students probably think of Red Barn Park simply as that convenient cut through to get over to the very, very far away from the rest of campus Barnett Hall. Now, those of you who know Kirksville know that I use that a little bit in jest because nothing's particularly far away. But most students probably think about this simply as a walking path to get from point A to point B. But I was thinking about the places where I have lived out faith with others in this particular space. I was thinking about a time that seems quite a while ago now, when I was a freshman in college. Wasn't quite sure what end was up yet, and it was a snowy winter, and a few new friends and I decided that we were going to go sledding. So we piled into the car and went to Ace Hardware and bought ourselves a sled, and then had to figure out where to put said sled in the dorm room. And on a snowy day, we took that sled and we had hours of fun sledding down this hill behind me. Now I say that's an ordinary experience. Most people have had something like that. All of those friends became lifelong friends. People who I do life with, even though we're not living in the same town anymore, of course. And I was also thinking about the time in March, which also seems like years ago, where I sat on this hill on a blanket 6 feet apart from a friend and contemplated what the first few weeks of shutdown had been like. We watched the sunset and wondered what would be coming next. Of course, we didn't know for sure. And in that moment, there was a rootedness and a groundedness and a sense of faith. And then there's the times I've done solo runs coming down the hill through the park, sailing down. Those of you who know this park is a big hill. Sailing down this hill, or so it feels at least, where there's that sense of endless possibilities because you almost feel like you're flying. So there's a sense when I come back to this space that I remember all of those things, all of those ordinary times where God has been present in and through other people. But they're ordinary things. And so I wonder, where are those places that you go to remember that God is present in the ordinary? It's a theme that we looked at quite a bit this summer, and I find myself coming back to it. Simply because we do faith in life in very ordinary ways, and that's where God shows up. So I wonder, do you have memories? Maybe it's memories of this particular park. And if you have them, I would love to hear them. Put them in the comments. We have a church member who's been sharing pictures of different places around Kirksville, and I've been loving seeing the stories that come up, because they really are stories of faith, even if they're not naming God in those. But perhaps your place is someplace else, where the holy showed up in those ordinary moments. When we remember those, we're not simply looking back to the past with the eye towards thinking, oh gosh, I wish things were different. We're recalling and remembering those times when we have actively felt and touched and sensed and smelled God's presence, so that we can continue creating those times with others in new spaces. So I wonder, what are your spaces where those memories come up? Because those memories sustain us. They give us the strength and the courage to then move into new places, new spaces, to say, I can go sledding down that hill, or I can go running down that hill, or I know that in this hard time, God is present, even if I don't recognize it at the moment. So that's my hope and my challenge and my prayer for all of us in these next days. Find those places that help you remember the ordinary moments, and then find that strength to continue to create those moments for yourself, with God and with others, and tell the stories of both the past and the present and the hopes for what that looks like into the future. Share them in the comments, share them with a friend, give us a call at church, send us a text. There is joy in sharing those things together. It is a beautiful day, friends. So wherever you are, I hope you have a moment to step outside, look up at the sky, remember and feel and sense God's presence, for we are not alone in these days. Go in that strength and that knowledge. Amen.